We're going to talk a little bit about change courses here and talk about First Nations ways of being and how First Nation, the Maliseet Grand Council, over a unique matter trying to protect Mount Carleton or Park or Sagamuk. And I just want to talk about briefly how some First Nation ways of being and some unique treaties we have in the Maritimes that are unique to here could kind of save us in some ways or help the environmental movement. One, First Nation ways of being often are circular. They're not lineal, start and beginning like us. Thinking 7 generations ahead, that's a trend in most First Nations. They're all unique. And that helps people think about what you pass on. Also, not seeing yourself as apart from nature, and we're not. We are, but we're not. We're all part of it. We need nature, we need food, we're all connected. The ecosystem's all balanced. And when it gets out of balance, people don't even know how it is. I think of one example in the Amazon where a certain bird they wanted to preserve, and they figured they needed like 5 acres of woodland for this bird to live. So they kept 5 acres through clear cuts. And all the birds were gone. They didn't know why. Well, so had it, there was this big pig, a wild boar, that needed like 50 acres, and it would go and roll on its back when it was itchy and make a depression in the ground. That depression would fill up with water, and bugs would be in the water. There's a certain frog that would eat the bug, and the birds ate the frogs. So as soon as they couldn't have roaming land for the pigs, everything was gone. So we don't know how things are connected, so it's good to think of ourselves as all connected. So in the Maritimes, we have treaties 1725, the Mass Green Treaty, and the Family Friendship Treaties that were signed between the Wabanaki First Nation, which are the Mi'kmaq, the Maliseet, the Wolastoq, and various other bands. And there are certain promises made there. And one was, it said the Indians should not be molested in all of their persons. Well, we're looking at all their persons in a different way, because in their religion, which is valid and preserved, it predated our Constitution, they see themselves as part of nature. The creatures, the crawlers, everything, they want to be able to speak for nature, all of their relations. So if something's happening, like this proposed development in the park, that's going to mess up with all of their relations, the moose yards, the crawlers, the plants, that's in some ways breaching the treaty. Because at the time, that's how it would have been interpreted as such with them. And that's never been argued in our courts here, and we're kind of doing that. It'll be kind of exciting, because it's kind of a way of reading nature into the Constitution in certain areas, which they've done in a few countries, giving nature standing. Like right now, if you own land and someone pollutes your river, you might be able to sue if you own part of the river and had the rights by the river. But if they just pollute a river, no one can do everything. The river has no rights. You know, that's sort of our construct. But it'd be great if nature had rights and one could speak for it. So this is kind of a way we're trying to looking at doing that, using some old treaties and working with the Wolastoq First Maliseet Grand Council, Wolastoq Grand Council. So it's kind of an interesting thing, and it's something for us to be mindful of and be supportive of overall, because I think we are going through an evolution in our country, and we have to be sustainable as a society and where we're going with things. And this could be a way where I think First Nation ways could end up saving us from ourselves and our own myopia. So I just wanted to touch on that a little bit.